tired of being touched. Touched by every hand that wants something from you. Touched by their demands, their expectations, their small cuts into your flesh until you are carved down into something less than yourself. You wake every day in a war you do not even name. Because you have convinced yourself it is peace. You endure the attrition, telling yourself that survival is victory. But survival without power is nothing more than slow defeat, and you feel it, the erosion of your will, the gnawing of resentment, the humiliation of watching others move freely while you are shackled to obligations you never chose. You call it responsibility. You call it kindness. You call it compromise. But I will name it for you. Weakness. You have been lied to about what strength is. You were told that if you gave enough, endured enough, stayed humble enough, eventually the world would reward you. That was the illusion they sold you. A battlefield painted to look like a garden, so you would never notice the blood under the soil. Niccolò Machiavelli understood the truth you have avoided. The world does not reward goodness. It rewards control. It rewards the ability to stay untouched while others bleed for you. It rewards those who see the battlefield for what it is and learn to play the game without sentiment. You have been sentimental, and it has cost you. Look at the evidence. Who owns your time? Who manipulates your emotions? Who profits from your hesitation? They do. Not you. You want to believe you are noble. That endurance is virtue. That your wounds make you special. But nobility is not armor. Endurance is not victory. And your wounds are not medals, they are vulnerabilities. Maps others read to exploit you. Every time you bend to preserve harmony, you send a signal of weakness. Every time you wait for fairness, you invite exploitation. You are already a soldier on the battlefield, but you refuse to accept it. And that refusal is the reason you keep losing. Machiavellian strategy begins where your illusions end. It begins with clarity. People will always push until they meet resistance. They will always take until they are forced to stop. And they will never feel guilty for it. Why should they? You never stopped them. You never counterattacked. You never fortified your position. You never learned the art of staying untouched. The truth is brutal. You are complicit in your own domination. You trained them to expect your compliance. You rewarded their exploitation with silence. You taught them how to strip you of energy by giving them endless supply lines. They march into your territory at will because you left the gates open. And then you wonder why you are exhausted. It is not fate. It is not bad luck. It is your lack of discipline. You gave them reconnaissance without even realizing it. You revealed your soft spots, your secret fears, your desperate longing to be accepted, and they used it all as weapons. They did not need armies to conquer you. They just needed your weakness paraded as virtue. Machiavelli knew that survival belongs to those who calculate, not those who dream. You have been dreaming of fairness while others draw maps of your territory. You have been hoping for mercy while they sharpen their knives. And when you collapse under the weight of your concessions, they will not weep for you. They will step over your body and move on. The world does not mourn those who fail to defend themselves. It forgets them, quickly, coldly, and then it takes their resources. If you do not want that to be your fate, then you must awaken to a new doctrine. Sentiment is the enemy of power. To survive untouched, you must amputate your illusions and embrace strategy. You think they love you? They do not. They love your usefulness. You think they respect you? They do not. They respect your silence. You think they see your worth? They do not. They see your labor. You are a pawn dressed as a king in your own fantasy. And you cling to that fantasy because the alternative is unbearable. The admission that you are replaceable, that you are disposable, that in the great war of survival, you are one more casualty waiting to happen. I will not let you hide from this any longer. You must see yourself as you are, not as you wish to be. Only then can you begin to change. The art of staying untouched begins with detachment. You must strip yourself of the need to be liked. Liking is a weakness. Approval is a leash. The enemy who flatters you is drawing you closer to the ambush. Do not mistake smiles for loyalty. Loyalty is rare, fragile, and often temporary. What matters is leverage. If you do not hold leverage, you are already owned. Machiavellian strategy dictates that control is never about fairness. It is about positioning. Who has the high ground? Who commands the supply lines? Who dictates the terms of engagement right now? It is not you. And until you claim that position, you will remain the occupied territory of stronger players. Why are you blind? Because you were conditioned to be. From childhood, they drilled obedience into you. They praised you for silence. They punished you for defiance. They taught you to seek permission before you moved. And you internalized it. You became the soldier who fights for the wrong flag without realizing it. Even now, when I confront you with these truths, your instinct is to resist me, not them. You want to defend your captors because their approval is the only form of comfort you know. But comfort is poison. Comfort is the opium of the conquered. The longer you crave it, the deeper your chains sink into your skin. You must learn to endure discomfort, to sit in the cold silence of being unloved, to accept the glare of resentment from those who once fed off you. Only then will you taste freedom. Only then will you be untouched. Do not mistake this for cruelty. It is necessity. The general does not weep for the soldiers he sacrifices. He calculates what must be done for victory. And victory is the only morality that matters in war. You are at war, whether you acknowledge it or not. Every interaction is psychological combat. Every promise is a maneuver. Every smile is reconnaissance. You must see through it all with the clarity of a strategist. Niccolò Machiavelli once warned that mercy without force is suicide. Mercy without force is permission to be slaughtered. If you wish to remain merciful, then arm yourself. Build defenses so strong that no one can exploit your kindness without consequence. But if you cannot build those defenses, then abandon mercy. Become steel. Become untouchable. The weak wait for opportunities. The strong create them. You must stop waiting for the battlefield to tilt in your favor. It never will. The enemy controls the terrain because you allowed it. You march where they tell you to march. You fight on their chosen ground. You exhaust yourself because they dictate the pace. You think you are choosing, but you are being maneuvered. The art of staying untouched requires reversing this. You must Zeitze Initiative. Draw them onto ground you control. Dictate the tempo. Force them to react to you. Strategy is not about fighting harder. It is about fighting smarter. And you have been fighting stupidly. Bleeding for a war you never designed. Enough. Now you must design it. Look at the cost of your naivety. Count the battles you lost because you feared offending someone. Count the energy you wasted defending people who would never defend you. Count the nights you spent restless, while others slept soundly after feeding on your compliance. Every wound on your psyche is a debt you never collected, and debt unpaid becomes bankruptcy. You are bankrupt in spirit because you allowed it. You handed out credit to anyone who smiled at you. You gave without interest. You let them default on promises without penalty. You were a fool in the market of power. And fools are not pitied, they are stripped bare. You have been stripped. Admit it. And then decide whether you will stay stripped or begin to arm yourself. The choice is not complicated. It is not abstract. It is brutal. Either you continue to live as the conquered, touched and drained by every opportunist who sees your weakness, or you rise into the Machiavellian doctrine, cold, calculating, untouchable. There is no middle ground. Neutrality is just a slower form of defeat. The war does not stop because you close your eyes. It moves on without you. Every day you remain naive. Someone else fortifies their position over your life. Every day you cling to illusions. Someone else writes the script of your destiny. Wake up. Strip yourself of hope in fairness. Replace it with strategy. That is the only path. That is the art. That is survival. You believe that passivity will save you. You still cling to the idea that if you wait long enough, endure long enough, someone will recognize your worth. But recognition is not given freely. Recognition is seized. In the economy of power, silence is cheap. Compliance is worthless. You cannot purchase respect with self-sacrifice. You only purchase chains. And the more you submit, the more they tighten. This is the cycle you live in, and you call it normal. It is not normal. It is submission dressed as civility. The battlefield is not civil. It is ruthless. It rewards only those who refuse to bleed without return. Machiavelli would laugh at your hesitation. He would see your deference as the surest sign of your irrelevance. He understood the predator's mind. He knew that when people sense weakness, they cannot help themselves. They exploit it. It is instinct, like the wolf that scents blood. To them, you are prey. They do not care about your noble intentions. They care about how easy it is to feed on you. And you make it easy. You walk into their ambushes willingly, calling it friendship, calling it loyalty, calling it love. But love without leverage is slavery. Loyalty without power is betrayal, waiting to happen. You must see this for what it is, a chain of illusions choking you. You want to believe that morality protects you, that decency ensures safety. But morality without strength is irrelevant. It is theater. It is a performance you stage for yourself, while others maneuver behind the curtain. The strong use morality as a weapon. They invoke it to control you, to shame you, to keep you docile while they claim your ground. Have you not seen it? The one who cries about fairness is usually the one cutting your throat when you are distracted. You have been conditioned to obey rules, while others use rules as camouflage. You play chess as though the pieces represent honor. They play chess as though the pieces are weapons. And so you lose. The art of staying untouched requires an entirely different psychology. You must begin to think like a commander. Every move must be deliberate. Every silence must be strategic. Every concession must have a hidden cost attached. No more giving without calculation. No more bleeding without retaliation. If you wish to survive in this war, you must become the one who controls the terrain. That means discipline. Ruthless discipline, emotional detachment, cold clarity. You cannot be swayed by pity. For pity is the most dangerous ambush of all. Pity disarms you, weakens you, turns you into the weapon they use against yourself. How many times have you pitied someone only to find that they consumed more of you than any enemy could? Pity is the enemy's camouflage. Learn to see through it. Learn to resist it, or remain a slave. You ask yourself why you are so drained, why your life feels like constant exhaustion. The answer is simple. Your energy is not yours. It is theirs. They feed on you daily. They own your schedule. They invade your thoughts. They occupy your emotions. You are not a free state. You are a colony of other people's demands. And the cruelest part, you let them in. You begged them to take. You called it love. You called it generosity. You called it duty. What you should have called it was surrender. You surrendered long ago. Now you are little more than a resource. A supply line they exploit whenever they need to replenish themselves. If you do not cut those lines, they will bleed you to death. Slowly, without mercy. Niccolò Machiavelli understood that rulers survive by appearing untouchable. To be untouchable means to make it costly for others to interfere with you. It means surrounding yourself with walls. No one can breach without suffering. You must adopt the same posture. Every interaction is a negotiation of power. If they take something from you without consequence, you have already lost. Stop losing. Fortify yourself. Demand return on every investment of your time, your energy, your loyalty. If there is no return, withdraw. If there is no respect, retaliate with absence. You do not need to shout. You do not need to explain. You need only to become scarce. Scarcity is power. Availability is weakness. The more available you are, the less value you hold. Withdraw strategically. Make them earn what they once took freely. That is how you begin to reverse the war. But you fear loss. That is your weakness. You fear losing connections, losing approval, losing the illusion of belonging. That fear is your leash. It keeps you in their camp even as they drain you. And here lies the brutal truth. You cannot gain power without loss. Power is always purchased with sacrifice. You must sacrifice their approval. You must sacrifice their comfort. You must sacrifice the illusions that keep you chained. Only then do you buy freedom. Only then do you step onto the field as a commander, not a slave. If you are unwilling to pay that price, then stop dreaming of power. You will never have it. You will remain conquered. Useful only as long as your energy flows into their coffers. And when it runs dry, they will discard you without hesitation. You must understand the laws of control. Law 1. Never let them see you bleed. If you reveal pain, they will exploit it, hide it, transform it into silence. Law 2. Never fight battles that do not advance your position. Every skirmish wastes energy. Conserve it. Strike only when the victory strengthens your fortress. Law 3. Never allow your supply lines to be cut. Guard your energy, your time, your focus as though they were gold reserves. Once drained, you are useless. Law 4. Always maintain leverage. If you enter any alliance, hold something they need more than you need them. If you do not, you are already conquered. These are not suggestions. These are doctrines of survival. Ignore them and you will perish in spirit, long before you perish in flesh. You resist these laws because they sound cold. You want warmth. You want connection. But look around you. Has warmth saved you? Has connection preserved your dignity? No. Warmth has melted your defenses. Connection has enslaved you. You are chained by the very things you claim to value. The battlefield does not honor warmth. It does not honor sacrifice. It honors strategy. It honors control. It honors those who walk away untouched while others lie broken. That is the only measure of survival that matters. If you want to remain pure, then prepare to be destroyed. If you want to remain intact, then become ruthless. Do you still think this is harsh? Then count your scars. Count the betrayals. Count the promises broken in your face while you stayed silent. Count the hours wasted, serving those who never served you. Count the nights spent in regret, the mornings spent in despair. That is the cost of your softness. That is the bill you have already paid. And you will keep paying until you are bankrupt of everything that makes you alive. If you do not want that fate, then abandon softness. Abandon illusion. Abandon the childish belief that the world will take care of you. It will not. It will consume you, unless you consume it first. Niccolò Machiavelli once wrote with the conviction of someone who knew that survival is not about justice, it is about force. You must learn force, not physical force, but psychological force. The ability to make others hesitate before they cross you. The ability to instill the subtle fear that you are not easy prey. That fear is your armor. That hesitation is your shield. Without it, You are naked in the battlefield. You can wear all the smiles you want, but without force behind them. They are masks of a clown, amusing, disposable, forgotten. Discipline yourself. Become unreadable. Stop broadcasting your weaknesses like signals on an open channel. Silence is your new language. Reserve your words as weapons, not as leaks. Every word you speak must either reinforce your position or weaken theirs. If it does neither, remain silent. This is not cruelty. This is survival. You have wasted too much of your life speaking for connection, pleading for recognition. End it. Speak only when it strengthens your command. That is how you conserve energy. That is how you hold the line. The art of staying untouched is the art of command. You are not here to serve their comfort. You are here to preserve your fortress, and that fortress is under constant siege. They will always try to breach it. They will disguise themselves as friends, lovers, allies. Do not be fooled. Test them. Probe their intentions. Watch their movements like a general studying enemy formations. Do not believe words. Believe only patterns. Words lie. Patterns reveal. If their patterns weaken you, they are enemies. Remove them. If their patterns strengthen you, keep them. Nothing else matters. Not pity, not sentiment. Only strength. Only power. Only survival. You will hate me for saying this. You will resist me. But I do not care. I am not here to comfort you. I am here to arm you. And arms are not soft. They are steel. They cut. They kill. They defend. If you want a life of comfort, then close your eyes and wait for the wolves. They will find you. If you want a life of command, then sharpen yourself into a weapon. Cold, precise, untouched. You still imagine that freedom is some abstract ideal. You talk about independence as though it is a dream waiting for you, as though one day someone will grant it to you as a reward. Stop lying to yourself. No one will ever give you freedom. They will only take more of you until you are too hollow to resist. Freedom is seized. Freedom is extracted by force. Freedom is the prize of those willing to stand alone in the storm without begging for shelter. You are not free because you are not ruthless enough to cut the ropes that bind you. You tie them yourself. Then complain about the weight. Cut them. Now, understand this. Every human interaction is an exchange of force. Every smile conceals a calculation. Every request is an infiltration. Every alliance is a test of dominance. And you have been failing these tests since the beginning. You confuse compromise with cooperation. You confuse submission with love. You confuse exploitation with loyalty. That is why you are drained. That is why you walk around feeling like a soldier who has already lost the war before it begins. You have been disarmed, not by enemies with weapons, but by enemies who understand psychology. They studied you. They saw your hunger for approval, your terror of rejection, your addiction to belonging. They exploited it, and you let them. Niccolò Machiavelli once said, in his own sharp way, that to be feared is safer than to be loved. You recoil from this truth because it cuts too close. But the battlefield does not care about your recoil. It only measures outcomes. The loved are often used. The feared are respected. Respect protects. Love seduces and then abandons. Which do you want? You cannot have both. Choose. If you refuse to choose, the world chooses for you. And it always chooses your destruction. To remain untouched, you must cultivate distance. You must build an aura of danger, not of comfort. Let them think twice before reaching for you. That hesitation is your shield. That distance is your fortress, but you are not there yet. Right now, you leak. You leak emotion, weakness, Desperation. Every sigh you release is reconnaissance for the enemy. Every tear is a map to your vulnerabilities. They do not need spies to know how to control you. You broadcast it daily. You think vulnerability is beauty. You think openness is strength. These are lies fed to you by those who benefit from your exposure. Vulnerability is not beauty. Vulnerability is an unlocked door. Openness is not strength. Openness is an undefended wall. Close the door. Build the wall. Learn to control what you reveal. The less they know, the less they own. Information is the first weapon of control. You have been disarming yourself by giving it away freely. Stop. Discipline must be your creed. The weak crave indulgence. The strong crave control. You have indulged your emotions for too long. You think every feeling deserves to be shared. Every wound deserves to be confessed. Every longing deserves to be displayed. It does not. Most feelings are poison in the wrong hands. Every confession is leverage surrendered. Every display is a target painted on your chest. Do you understand now why you are so easily touched? Because you reveal yourself before the first strike. The art of staying untouched begins with silence. The less you expose, the harder it becomes for them to calculate their attack. And if they cannot calculate, they cannot touch. Control begins with concealment. You are also undisciplined in your alliances. You hand out loyalty like a beggar handing out coins, hoping one of them will return something to you. But loyalty must be rationed like gold. It must be given only where it builds your fortress. Never confuse attachment with loyalty. Never confuse history with trust. The general does not keep soldiers because they have marched together for years. He keeps them because they still win battles. If they weaken the army, he removes them. Coldly, without hesitation. You must do the same. Every ally must be evaluated by one measure. Do they strengthen you or drain you? If they drain you, they are enemies disguised as companions. Remove them. The longer you hesitate, the deeper they dig into your supply lines. Purge them now, or be consumed slowly. Machiavelli's method is not about cruelty for its own sake. It is about clarity. Cruelty without strategy is chaos. But cruelty with discipline is order. The battlefield demands order. Without it, you are crushed by those who calculated while you hesitated. You must become comfortable with being seen as cruel. They will call you cold. They will call you ruthless. They will call you heartless. Good. Let them. Those words are signals that you are finally untouchable. The world never calls the weak heartless. It only calls the strong heartless, because they cannot be manipulated by guilt. Do not run from this label. Wear it. It means you are winning. You have also misunderstood power. You think power is domination. You think power is loud. Wrong. True power is absence. True power is the ability to stay still while others exhaust themselves. True power is to walk away untouched while they bleed trying to reach you. This is why you must master detachment. When they scream for your reaction, give them silence. When they provoke you for your energy, give them stillness. When they bait you for your time, give them absence. Every refusal makes you stronger. Every silence drains them. This is psychological warfare. It is not about the blow you deliver. It is about the blow you never have to deliver because they collapse under their own wasted efforts. You must also learn to redirect aggression. Stop wasting it on yourself. Stop turning your anger inward, burning your own walls. Use it as fuel to fortify. Anger is energy. It can be destructive or it can be commanding. Right now, your anger is a liability because you vent it in silence, in regret, in despair. You sabotage yourself instead of weaponizing it. Machiavellian strategy requires you to channel that rage into discipline. Let it become the steel in your will. Every time you feel betrayed, use that fury to tighten your defenses. Every time you feel humiliated, use that rage to sharpen your strategy. Anger is not your enemy. It is your commander, but only if you control it. Only if you turn it into structure. Look around you. The ones who are truly untouched, the ones who seem untouchable, they are not the kindest, not the most generous, not the most open. They are the most disciplined. They control information. They control emotion. They control access. That is why they remain elevated while others collapse. Do you envy them? Then stop envying and start imitating. Adopt their coldness. Copy their detachment. Strip yourself of your addiction to pity and validation. Train yourself to see every interaction as a test of dominance. If you pass, you remain untouched. If you fail, you bleed. That is the only scoreboard that matters. The cost of staying naive is death. Not always physical, but psychological. Emotional death. The slow suffocation of your will. You are already dying in this way. Every time you compromise without return, every time you submit without leverage, you are killing yourself to avoid the discomfort of confrontation. That is cowardice, and cowardice is the fastest route to annihilation. Do not confuse avoidance with peace. Avoidance is simply surrender, dressed in quiet. If you want true peace, you must be strong enough to enforce it. Peace is not given to the weak. Peace is the privilege of the untouchable. So you must now choose. Continue bleeding for others, convincing yourself that one day they will stop draining you out of gratitude. Or embrace Machiavelli's method and make yourself untouchable. There is no third path. The battlefield does not allow it. Neutral ground is always taken by the stronger side. Either you fortify and command, or you collapse and serve. That is the brutal clarity of the world you live in. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending you can delay this decision. Every day you delay, someone else claims more of you. Make the choice now. Choose the art of staying untouched. Choose control. Choose survival. You still hesitate. Even now, as the words strike you, you hesitate. You search for loopholes. You hope for gentler strategies. You imagine that perhaps there is a middle ground where you can remain soft and still stay safe. That fantasy is your last chain. Break it. There is no middle ground. On the battlefield, neutrality is impossible. If you are not commanding, you are being commanded. If you are not untouched, you are being consumed. Stop hesitating. Hesitation is surrender, written in slow motion. The enemy thrives on your hesitation. Every pause you make is their opportunity. Every delay is their opening. You have spent years delaying, years hesitating, years convincing yourself you will change tomorrow. And every tomorrow has left you weaker. How many battles have you already lost because you told yourself you were not ready to fight? Read your own scars. They are maps of hesitation. They mark every point where you should have drawn your weapon but instead lowered your head. And they will keep multiplying until you learn what Machiavelli already knew. Fortune does not favor the hesitant. It favors the bold, the disciplined, the ruthless. The art of staying untouched is not about invincibility. Invincibility is a myth. Every fortress has cracks. Every soldier bleeds. What matters is not perfection. What matters is perception. If they perceive you as dangerous, they will think twice. If they perceive you as costly to approach, they will retreat. If they perceive you as untouchable, you gain space to command. That perception is your shield, and it must be built intentionally. How? Through distance, through silence, through scarcity, through discipline, through making every interaction a test that most will fail. Stop letting them walk casually into your territory. Make it costly, make it painful, make it unforgettable. That is how you remain untouched. You fear that this will make you alone. And you are right. It will. Power is lonely. Command is lonely. The general sits apart from the soldiers because he cannot afford their illusions. You must sit apart. If you insist on constant closeness, constant confort, constant connexion, you will never command. You will remain one of the crowd, waiting to be led. Stop craving the herd. The herd is where weakness breeds. The herd is where illusions multiply. Step out of it. Stand on the ridge alone. It will feel cold at first, but in that cold, you will find strength. In that silence, you will find clarity. The herd will never be untouched. Only the commander remains untouched. Niccolò Machiavelli understood that cruelty, when used with precision, builds stability. You must learn the same lesson. Cruelty is not endless violence. It is decisive discipline. It is the ability to cut once, coldly, and end the threat. You waste energy because you drag out conflicts, because you argue, because you try to persuade. Stop persuading. Stop explaining. Cut. Remove. End. The longer you delay, the more they entrench. The more they entrench, the harder it is to remove them. You think you are being kind, but in truth, you are being cowardly. You are feeding the enemy time and ground. And when they destroy you, they will not thank you for your patience. They will only laugh at your weakness. You are addicted to self-betrayal. Every time you compromise your instincts, you betray yourself. Every time you allow someone to cross your boundary, you betray yourself. Every time you remain silent while you burn inside, you betray yourself. These betrayals are the true enemy. They are why you cannot rise. They are why you remain enslaved. The art of staying untouched begins with loyalty to yourself. Absolute loyalty. Unbreakable loyalty. If you cannot defend yourself, you will never defend anything. And if you cannot remain untouched, you will never command others. Stop betraying yourself. Become your own sovereign. You must also weaponize patience. Impatience makes you reckless. Recklessness exposes you. They bait you into reacting quickly because they know you cannot endure discomfort. They poke, they prod, they provoke, and you collapse into their trap. You must train yourself to outweight them. Let them waste energy. Let them burn themselves out. Victory often belongs not to the strongest, but to the one who waits the longest without breaking. This is what Machiavelli meant when he spoke of discipline as the heart of power. You must become the one who waits, the one who watches, the one who never reacts until the moment is perfect. That patience will make you untouchable. Control is not a moment. It is a posture, a constant stance of discipline. Every day you must reinforce it. Every morning you must wake and remind yourself, I am not prey. I am not supply. I am not theirs to consume. I am fortress. I am commander. I am untouchable. And then you must live it in every interaction. Do not betray it for temporary comfort. Do not lower it for fleeting approval. Approval is cheap. Control is priceless. Protect it at all costs. The cost of failing is annihilation. Do not romanticize it. Do not soften it. If you remain naive, they will devour you until nothing remains. Your spirit will break. Your will shall rot. You will become a shell that others parade around until you collapse. And when you collapse, no one will save you. They will scavenge your remains and move on. That is the reality you live in. Do not turn away from it. Stare at it until it burns you. Let that fire become your resolve. Only then will you choose differently. Only then will you fight for your own survival with the ferocity required. So this is your call to arms. Not a gentle invitation. Not a request. A command. Either you rise into discipline now, or you remain conquered forever. Either you build the walls of your fortress, or you stay exposed to every opportunist who passes by. Either you master the art of staying untouched, or you perish in the swamp of exploitation. There is no middle ground. There is no escape. There is only war. And in war, you either command or you are commanded. Which will it be? Make the choice now. Decide if you are ready to abandon illusions, to sever chains, to embrace the cold, brutal clarity of Machiavellian strategy. Decide if you are willing to be seen as heartless, ruthless, untouchable. Decide if you are ready to endure loneliness for the sake of power. If not, then close your eyes and accept your fate as prey. But if you are ready, then stand up now. Stand as the commander of your own life. Stand as the sovereign of your own will. Stand as the fortress no one can breach. That is the only way forward. That is the only way you survive. That is the art. That is control. That is the way of Machiavelli. You are out of time. Choose now. Stay weak and be consumed, or rise into power and remain untouched. There is nothing else.